お願いします。お願いします。Got these aside. feet under hip joints. Slide one foot forward. And then start to bend your knee as if you're going to put the knee down on the floor. Just go part way. Check out the balance, weight allocation, forward foot, back foot. Come back. Same foot now. This time, bring the foot out. And if you're comfortable, bring the knee all the way down. Can you bring it down gently without banging? Gently. If you can't bring it all the way down, just go part way down. Feel your stability. Make sure you can come back up. If you're comfortable to go all the way down, touch the knee and find your legs, your feet. Push through both feet into the ground so that your center rises up. All right, this time, let's bring the other foot forward. And first time, just check it out. Make sure you're not too narrow, you're not too wide, but just right so that you can bring your knee down, stable over both feet. And if you're comfortable, come all the way down. What's the position of your back foot? Don't put your knee down like this. Make sure the heel is back behind. Hips are square. Foot, knee, hip, all aligned. And come up. Okay, so we did forward, put your knee down, and return. Forward, put your knee down, and return. Again, you don't have to go all the way down. You could just go part way. Come back. Use your center to return. All right, same idea, but now we're going to step back to do it. So I'm going to put my weight in this left leg so that this one is free to slide back. Don't change the angle. Okay, keep the heel going straight back so that ankle, knee, and hip are all in one plane. Easy, tender, gentle, good control, don't bang. You can go just part way and come up. You can go just a smidgen, come back up. Or imagine in your mind. Just match it to your breathing. A little bit more, a little bit more, or all the way down. Step up to neutral. This time, putting your weight into the right leg so that this leg is free to slide back. Check it out. Where are you? Not too narrow, not too wide. Just right. And think. Think a little bit, or bring your knee all the way down. Now that you have a sense of where you want that foot to be, step back, down, up, return. Subtle weight shift. You're shifting your weight into the stabilizing leg so that this leg can go back smoothly. Here's that weight shift. You can change the timing. Maybe go down even slowly, more slowly. And the return, don't pop up. Can you come up slowly? Feel what's working in you. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 3, 2, 1. Sometimes it's harder to actually go slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. We'll take another minute to go through some combinations. You can go forward, you can go back, you can go faster or slower. You can bring your knee all the way down or not all the way down. So free practice for just a few seconds. All right. This time, slight V angle here. Sink your bottom down, some knees bend, but try to keep this upright posture as you come down. Draw your thighs into your hips and the heels down into the ground to come back up. Keep your head aloft, don't bring it forward. This time from here, one knee down. Draw it up to bring your weight to both feet. And come up. Controlled, easy. If you have an injury, you can put your hands down to make that quiet and easy. I'll back up. All right, so now you have a couple of different ways to come down to the ground. You can come down this way into Kesa. You could step forward, bring your knee down. Or you can step back, come into the position. So try a few different ways. 3 different ways. I can step back to come down into Kesa. I can step forward. Or you can try the V shape, kind of crouch down, bring one knee down and follow up. 3 different ways. I'm sure there's more. Just these 3 ways. Okay, so from here, try to open up your legs into the ground so that your upper body comes up. It's like you're doing a motion like this, kicking into the ground. The ground wins, you go up. This time, imagine pressing your hips forward. So your hips are bent here, and you're going to open them up and bring your bottom forward. This time, imagine you have a book on your head. You're balancing the book, and you're going to bring the book up toward the ceiling. Think of floating up. And return. Keep that book on your head. time, engage all three. This visualization, hips coming forward, the lower leg kicking into the ground. All right, now we're going to use that motion to bring your foot up. Look for a nice 90-degree angle here. Don't come forward, right? Keep the book. Here, here, all three. And use that motion to come up. From here, engage the back toes. Now, all of that at one time. And return. Do the other side. Imagine it first. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. That knee is going to fly up, and the back toes are going to stabilize. Imagine it, and then do it. All right. This time, take your bottom a little bit left and right. And slide your bottom along the heels if they reach. If not, just experiment with this kind of motion. Be careful of your knees. If you can sit this way, roll a little bit left and right. And then use that motion to just slide off and sit. Slide and have a seat. As I go to sit, my leg slides a little bit. That's okay. As I move to the left, my left hand slides out. You make it kind of an easy motion, like you're just getting ready to sit and lie down on your side, something that languid. Sit. And now how do you return? What do you engage in yourself to return? And to what extent do you have to push through this hand? Do you really have to push to bring yourself up? Or is this just kind of there for your balance? So you're using something from here to bring yourself up. How do you engage, initiate your movement? All right. So let's do a little series on this is one of the ways that I teach falling right away in the beginning of falling. So from here, sit, and let your legs fly up. Balance there for a moment, and return. So you have a seat to the side, you let your legs fly up, balance for a moment, then find those long muscles of your back here, come over the meat of your hip. So you're finding this angle in line with the glutes and the long muscles of the back. You sit and you roll along that line and come back up. I'm thinking about this line, the long line of my back muscles to the right of the spine. Sit, roll along that line. So I'm not going straight back, not over the spine, but over at an angle. if you can open up your knees, there's a certain moment when you kind of kick your legs out, and that helps give you the momentum as you go back. And then closing them again helps bring you back on the returning motion. So as a variation, you can slide your hand out, sit, but don't put your elbow out away from your body. Keep your elbow close to your body and come in a little bit more to the side to bring yourself down. But now look for that angle. Look for that angle along the long muscles of your back. If you need help here, you can come to here. That's another variation. If you feel like you can't quite go like that, then give yourself a little more time to ease into it. But once your bottom is down, look for this angle along the glutes and the lats. And here, you bring your head out over your knee and come up. So that's a variation. If you're comfortable with the first way, just think about your center, slide over, open up the legs, and come back. Okay. Next, 4 points. Hand is under the shoulder. Not here, not here, not here. Hand is under the shoulder, in line with the knee. The knee under the hip. Not here, not here, not here, but right under the hip. The foot is directly behind the knee. Not here, but directly behind the knee. Some positions, some exercises, we have toes alive or standing. Sometimes we say toes soft. So first, toes soft. Go to sit toward the left heel, toward the right heel. I'm centered. My spine is in the center of this figure. And then I'm going to change the angle. Draw this intention over toward the left heel, and then steer my bottom toward that left heel. Same attention on the return. Sit back toward the right heel. Bring your attention to that returning motion. How do you engage? How do you bring yourself forward? How about straight down the middle? How will you use your legs, your center, to return? All right, just review silently now. So this time, toes are alive. You won't be able to sit back as far. That's all right. One side, the other, down the middle. Now this time, pivot on this knee. So you just bring your lower leg and your foot out to the side and then come back to that position right behind your knee. Out and return. This time, rotate or pivot on the knee so that your foot goes to the inside and return. Find that pivot point, that axis. Find the movement in your hip joint. And the other side, it'll look like this. Now, toes soft, feet together, and sit back. Back to Kesa. 4 points. Outside, inside, outside, return. Outside, inside, outside, return. Inside, toes soft, and sit back. Good. This time, slide off, take that little roll, and when you come up to kneeling. There's a moment where I pivot on this knee. When the foot comes toward the foot, there's more of a 4-point square position. When I pivot on this knee and the foot comes toward the foot, I'm set to fall and set to roll. If I want stability in this position, better to turn here. It's better for stability. It's better for mobility, falling. All right, the other side. Bring the foot in. Now I'm ready to roll over the foot, roll over that knee, have a seat. Stabilize, mobilize. My eyes and my intention and my chest are all going to follow the knee that comes up. So here, spiral up to a line this way. When you get going fast, it looks like the person's coming straight up over the knees. But if you try to go straight over the knee, you might find that you can't get over this hump. So spiral up, spiral down. All right, so from Kesa, the sitting position, za, Kesa, sitting. If I come up with this knee and my intention is to roll, then this is going to follow in a certain way. If I come up and my intention is to stand, it's going to stabilize. See, can't see the foot? I'm ready to stand. Here, I'm ready to roll. Get ready to stand. Stand. Okay. Kamae, stand with the Jo staff in front of the knee, in front of the foot. Not here, not here. but here. If I were to bend my knee, it comes right toward the wood. This is lined up with my second toe. Not here, but here. Knee. All right, now take it out of the ground. Let's find that position. Turn in your hip to make an opening. Here's the opening now. Return. Turn in your hip to make an opening over here. In this opening. Feel it. Ah, my belly's exposed. Up. My ribs exposed. Notice the difference between this type of movement and this. All right. So we're going to go over. The first few movements across the chart of Joe Basics, sometimes associated with fourth Q weapons test guidelines. Not everyone adheres to the same guidelines, but if you're familiar with those guidelines, then you'll recognize this. So the attack is Kesa, which we went over. We could do it this way. We can move this foot first. All right. For today, let's absorb and then step forward. There's the Kesa. Okay, now imagine that you're receiving that. It's coming toward your left temple, and you're going to turn your hip to bring the foot around and return. Kesa uchi number 1. Use your hip to bring your foot around. Don't just step. This is the translation motion, right? If I go from the blue line here and I just move my foot, and I've translated, brought same figure over. That's not what we're doing. We're changing the angle, turning the hip to bring the foot around. Not too big, just enough. So if I start on this line and the attack is coming here, so you turn your hip, but you don't take a full step. You don't step forward. This hip is back. That foot is connected to the ground. And there's a relationship between the tip of the weapon and the back foot. I don't know if you can see that on this camera, but what a sense of through line. Foot, knee, hip, torso, hands, tip of the weapon. And your target is the temple. At this moment, you're making contact. Your partner's weapon is making contact and bringing that weapon around your body. So imagine it. Bam, there it goes. Imagine the moment of contact and make sure your body movement is ready to receive it. Let's try it on the other side. Right foot forward. Sense your left hip coming forward, the right hip going back. That left foot comes out and around. Shift your weight. right, so now that's the first Kesa uchi, first response to Kesa. Second one is very similar, but we're going to do a little bit different footwork, absorb the attack slightly different way. I'm going to mobilize this half of my body to go back and around my foot, and then slide forward. The attack is still to my left temple. My response is still moving to the right and attacking my partner's left temple. All that's the same, just a slightly different strategy. I'm going to turn my foot, don't bring it out, but I turn my foot so that it's ready to be my front foot. Relates to this little exercise that we do, rotating around your leg. The hip's got to go back. You're placing your front foot around yourself. You can come forward. And I don't know if the camera is showing this clearly, but these feet are in line with my weapon, right? It's not this type of motion. Sometimes the camera is a little bit misleading. So in this case, there's still weapon-to-weapon contact. It happens about here, right? And you're responding with your whole body to absorb that strike and come right back. Absorb it, come in. So you step around yourself, shift your weight into this foot so that this one can slide forward. Okay, so those are the first two responses to Kesa uchi number 1 and 2. Let's look at the next. We're going kind of across the board of the Joe Basics rubric rather than down. So now we're going to go to the ski attack. So we've gone over ski before, many different ways to do it. In this case, just slide, and your target is the sternum. So you slide forward and bring it up. This one curls around. If I can show you a little further back. As I strike, my body is going to be just slightly off the line of the weapon, or I bring this weapon off the original line. I'm oriented on this blue line. I'm going to keep it super narrow. Okay. Into the sternum. Moving to the left. So as I receive this, so if I was attacking here, this would be the left side, right? There's the attacker. Now I'm going to be receiving. There's an opening here. I'm going to match his movement, almost the same movement, but slightly different timing. So as he comes in, I get out of the way and I come to his sternum. So there's no weapon-to-weapon contact on this one. You just have to move in a certain timing. Choku ski. Choku grip, also known as junte grip. Choku, junte. Let me see. Gyakte or kaeshi grip. Junte or choku grip. Choku ski. Okay. Some teachers will show the footwork slightly differently on this one. For the kaeshi ski, gyakte grip, I'm palm down. Again, the same attack is coming in. I'm going to move my back foot, lay this right on their wrist, that could be the end of the motion. I could follow up here to get myself completely off the line. Some teachers will show the forward leg first, but in either case, be sure to turn your hip, all right? It's no good to move the front foot and end up like this. Turn your hip well. There was a phase where it was taught this way, the back foot first, helps kind of facilitate that hip motion, or remembering to really initiate the movement from your hip. You want this tip to come up in a very narrow angle. You don't want it to be too wide. Don't take too much time or space to do it. Keep it efficient. Can you keep the trajectory of the tip in the frame of your body? Is that possible? Now, sometimes this is followed up with a ski. Sometimes it merges from the wrapping of the hand directly in. There's a variation where you set it between the hands and bring it up. We get into that more from the shomenuchi strikes. But for just a really basic initial practice, find the angle, just set that on their wrist, like you're just gonna wrap the hand. Your whole body's off the line. This angle, a little bit of an angle. Can you see that? So 2 ways to respond to ski. Imagine it's coming into your sternum and your partner's body is moving just a tad over there. So I'm going to come in and match him choku or kaeshi, junte or gyakute grip. Choku ski. Choku ski. Kaeshi ski. Kaeshi grip. This is low. I might have this hand low to wrap it on top of the hand. Right? For choku ski, I might come in to the sternum, and so I want the tip just slightly lower than my that feeling. Okay, let's do that on the other side. So imagine your partner is coming in to your sternum, to this side just a little bit. Their right side, my left side, but pretty straight on, very narrow. From Jo Kamae. Right here, this contact. All right, and turn your hand over for a gyakute grip or kaeshi ski. Initiate movement from your center. Let that hip take the foot back around and wrap the hand. Take the hand. This time you can imagine pull and ski. One more time. Take the hand, pull and ski. All right, this next time, take the hand and just keep on going through. So you want the sense of the ski just organically merging, coming out of the initial contact. Boom, and in. A little bit different rhythm. Okay, now let's, moving right along to shomenuchi. So we spent a lot of time on, in previous sessions on shomenuchi attack. Let's take the gyakute grip here. Your hip moves your foot around just a tad. just enough to avoid getting hit, and then come back in. So my whole body is off of the original line. It's a very narrow angle, and my target is the top of the head. Let the weapon swing around your body. Make sure your attack comes from the top of your head, not the side, not here, not in front of you, but top of the head. Elbow precedes the hand. Yakte grip, absorb, and go. So similar to our ski response, the very first response, Nagashi uchi, is going to be almost the same movement, but in a slightly different timing. They come, you absorb it, and use that energy to come back. So imagine the contact happens right about here, and as soon as that happens, it takes the weapon around you. You move your supple and your spine and your hip to absorb it, and you come back at them. By starting left foot forward, I finish left foot forward. Shomenuchi. Response to shomenuchi is Nagashi uchi. Let's try it on the other side. Oh, change out all the hands. Here's my back hand. Here's my front hand, right hand. I'm going to initiate movement from my hip to bring the foot around, absorb, keep absorbing from the top of the head, strike. And the target is the crown of the head. So let's try one with, not too fast, but try using this hand. Don't grab with this hand at all. You can maybe balance it just a little bit here so it doesn't fall into you. But try to minimize the use of this hand. Find how this side can work. So here, this has to be pretty soft so that you don't hurt your shoulder or elbow, right? You got to move your body, let it come around. Now, what about right here? This is pretty low. So how can you bring your elbow in, use that gripping of the little finger, use your body to bring the weapon up and over without straining the shoulder or elbow, right? So your grip is like your bokken grip. You want elbow to precede the hand. Use your whole body. Right? So you're not just pulling a heavy weight from behind you and straining the elbow, right? That wouldn't be good. But you're going to engage a little bit of the sense of jumping. How do you prepare to jump? How do you use your joints and your spine? We're just going to borrow a little bit of that feeling to make sure this weight comes up and over without straining the arm. All right. See you again. And keep your posture. Maybe come forward a little bit so you're not worried about the wall behind you. I'm worried about the wall behind you. Yeah, After this exercise, you can just let it come down and touch the mat so you're not straining anything in your arm. Yeah, try to find the legs, that whole body motion. I'm exaggerating a little bit, right? Exaggerating. Boom. But it can be helpful to exaggerate to get a sense that this whole body motion, jumping up, if I were to jump up into the air, that feeling brings the weapon over effortlessly, right? My arm doesn't have to work, doesn't have to steer it. Just the position of elbow and hand is going to set it on the right track. Right? But use your whole body to initiate that movement. And then you can rein it back a little bit, and it's just this tiny little pumping motion in the knee and hip, but it goes all the way through you. Boom. Boom. Nice. Now you're cooking with gas, as they say. Yeah. Now the first part, can you make that fluid? So this just comes around, and once it comes around and it reaches, it aligns with your spine, boom, that's when you engage this next part. So you don't have to hold it so much. Here, now go from 0. It's going to be more like it's swinging around you, but once it reaches the spine, that's when I engage the forward motion. All right, yes. Much better. One hand is hard. Well, the other hand shouldn't be doing very much. It's more the whole body, right? So then this hand's job is to just make sure that when the contact happens, it doesn't fall right into you. You're turning your body, so it shouldn't fall into you, but you have a certain amount of absorption with this, right? It absorbs. Just kind of ferries it around here to make sure it's matching your body movement here. And then here, it's not really doing anything. You don't think of pushing it. That's the wrong way to think of it. You want to send this out. Use your whole body. So this is just a passenger. It's just touch. And then right here, it comes into play. It just helps hold it from dropping completely. But don't get into this idea of, oh, I'm going to push this forward, right? You don't want this to come back in at you. Send it out. Use your body. Send it out. So it's for some people, it's a real kind of conundrum. I'm using my shoulder, I'm doing my arm over my head, and I'm using my shoulder, and there's a lot of rotation going on. And yet, how can you do that without straining it? So just have faith that there is a way. Those of you who have old shoulder injuries, there is a way to do this. It's not going to strain your shoulder, but you have to study it and use your whole body and find the way where the shoulder is kind of gets out or escapes alive. No strain. Okay, so we're just about done. I'll just take a few seconds to run through these 5 movements. So you can follow me or just practice on your own as you remember. All right. 36 to 86. So we didn't get to bulkhead, but we will later this month. Let's finish for today. Don't want to get to mata. Domo arigatou gozaimashita.